reading the bill question.
Yeah, look, we're getting ready to go through an unfortunate bit of political theater. And the reason for that is that the Democrats have made the decision to be hard partisans rather than to work together in a bipartisan manner. Last year, Congress passed 5 separate COVID relief bills. Every one of them was bipartisan. So it's not just empty words. Republicans here have demonstrated that we are ready and willing to roll up our sleeves and work together in a bipartisan manner to address COVID, to defeat this pandemic, and to get people back to work. Joe Biden and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi could have done the same. But they made a decision instead. This is not a COVID bill. 9% of this bill focuses on COVID health spending. 91% is a partisan wish list paying off the Democratic special interests that got them elected. And it's cynical. It's got Chuck Schumer's bridge to Canada. The last I checked, a bridge to Canada is not going to defeat COVID. The first version of the bill had Nancy Pelosi's tunnel of love to be built in Silicon Valley because apparently bringing pork home to her constituents will help us defeat COVID. It's cynical what they're doing. This bill, if it passes, if the Democrats manage to keep their conference together, will end up passing with 50 Democrats voting yes, and I think the odds are quite high you will see 50 Republicans voting no and the Vice President breaking the tie. That is cynical. That is partisan. It is an abuse because they don't want to work together. There are all sorts of elements on which all of us would eagerly participate. Vaccinations. Should we have funding for more vaccinations? Should we accelerate the distribution of the vaccinations? Of course. And if we brought that up for a vote, it would pass 100-0. But the Democrats aren't interested in doing that. This debate will play out. And listen, Ron Johnson and other senators are using procedural tools to delay this because this is $1.9 trillion in wasteful spending that doesn't have anything to do with defeating COVID. That is a mistake. It is cynical. And it's an abuse of this process. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of Texans who are mad. You know, Joe Biden gave an inauguration speech. We were all there where he talked about unity and working together. Where's the unity and working together? You had 10 Republicans go down to the White House saying, we want to work together on a COVID relief bill. And what did the Democrats say? Go jump in a lake. There will be no bipartisanship. We're going to ram through a partisan wish list. That's wrong. It's cynical. And one of the things it does is it abandons a whole lot of school kids who need to be in school right now.
Thank you. Can you touch on herd immunity and the letter that you sent to DHS or HHS talking about the provisions and changing the requirements of giving everybody a shot, first shot?
I certainly think it's feasible that we could have herd immunity by April or May, and I say that for several reasons. There's a lot of real-world studies out there saying that one shot of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccination are 75–80% effective. In addition to that, I think 25, maybe 50% of Americans have already had the virus. So I think it's very feasible that we could get easily 150 million people vaccinated by the end of March if our president's team does their job, if our governors do their job as well. So what we're asking the FDA to do is to consider getting a whole lot of people one shot rather than getting everybody 2 shots to start with. Certainly much I believe that we may need to make sure our seniors get their 2 shots as soon as possible. People with health care problems, underlying health care problems, get their 2 shots. But beyond that, I really want the freedom to apply the science, to allow local health departments and local departments of health to decide if they could give everybody 1 shot rather than